126 years since the famous siege of this city took place. A siege that would not only be recorded as the longest in British history, but an event that would dictate the future of three kingdoms and echo through history as the most important moment in the establishment of our Parliament in London, the seat of our modern democracies. The usurper, James. Boo! Boo! Come on, you can do better than that for the puppet king! Boo! Rejected by the British people, fled to France as William, Prince of Orange! Was invited to rule the Ireland and Britain as joint monarch with James's daughter, Mary. Meanwhile, in France, James, aided by the French king, raised a Catholic army, landed in Ireland, marching north, seeking to cross into Scotland, march south upon London, and take the throne by force. James's army landed in Ireland, marched north, taking all that lay before him, until, finally, he arrived on the outskirts of Londonderry.
Look out! Look out! There's a crowd of redshawks come across from the water side!
To the gates! To the gates! Seize the keys and lock them tight! Others may slumber when we live in fear of losing our lives and liberty, but we apprentices will be strong in the defence of this city. No surrender!
No surrender! No surrender! No surrender!
No surrender!
No surrender! No surrender! If it had not been for the swift action of the brave apprentices on that day, death and tyranny would have walked unhindered through the streets of this city. The Redshanks returned to the water side, and although no fighting ensued, it was clear to all what James's designs were upon Londonderry, and it's safe to say that there were forces at work against the defenders on both sides, inside and out.
Colonel Murray! Colonel Murray!
Yes, boy, what is it?
A letter, Colonel Murray.
Thank you. That man! It's as if he's doing everything in his power to give our enemies the upper hand. But he makes me so angry.
Who's that, Colonel Murray?
Why, our worthy governor, of course. Lundy.
Well, why don't you take it out in him instead of me, then?
What?
There!
How do you know that's Lundy?
Everybody knows it's him. He's been going round in that cloak all day asking anyone if they have a ladder.
Lundy! Lundy!
Ooh. Colonel Murray. You know, I didn't see you there. I thought I heard someone call him a name, but you know, I dismissed it as the wind blowing through the trees.
Trees?
Aye. Trees, walls, you know, whatever.
Well, it wasn't the wind blowing anywhere. In fact, the only thing that might be whistling somewhere is a shot through your body.
Oh, come. No, Colonel Murray, you know, what are you gonna do to me?
Hasty, are you? Hasty, he says. There could be nothing hastier, Governor Lundy, than your retreats from the battles in which you fought in defence of this city. There could be nothing hastier, Governor Lundy, than your readiness to send away reinforcements sent to this city to aid that same defence. There could be nothing hastier, Governor Lundy, than your letter to our enemies on the subject of the surrender of this city to the puppet King James!
Crivens, what are you gonna do to me?
Oh, I know what I should do with you. What should I do with him, my fine and loyal friends?
I am a gentleman after all.
Ah, you are no gentleman, sir. Why, you're nothing but a Lundy. Lundy. Now get out of here before I change my mind. Run to your friends. Perhaps your cowardly nature will help persuade them it is they. Now get out of here!
Get used to the ladder, I need to get out of here soon! Get used to the ladder out here, I need to get out!
Get out! The city had chosen to make its stand. The gates were closed, and the treacherous governor, Lundy, was expelled. The joint governorship of the town was assumed by Captain Henry Baker, and Reverend George Walker. Meanwhile, an uneasy stalemate was being played out between the besiegers and the besieged. The gates were reopened, but never untended, as, although the citizens moved freely, they were never without the watchful gaze of the Redshanks, who were encamped on the water side. James's army sent letters continuously seeking, then demanding, the surrender of Londonderry, the people of which they declared traitors to their king and his divine right to rule them. The defenders' answer remained resolute and never changed. No surrender! No surrender! Then, in April 1689, the inevitable occurred.
Excuse me. That's better. My sincerest apologies for the interruption, but as I'm sure you know as my fine and loyal subjects, I have a need for this city. And if you could see your way clear to opening the gates so that my men could, how would you say it, establish themselves, I would be very grateful. I must say that I am somewhat surprised that it has come to this, that I must appear at the gates of a city in my realm like a summoned dog for my authority to gain admittance and for my soldiers to gain admittance. But since I have been here myself, I promise a full pardon to you all, despite your treason. Now, open these gates for your king!
James, you're no kin of mine.
I am a fair ruler, and I will still grant mercy to all those who will kneel before me. Now, I am your king!
I won't bow before you.
I am God's anointed!
You're no kin of mine, you're a traitor.
I will have the hide of every traitor in this city. Rosen, destroy them!
Their joy was short-lived, however. James did return to Dublin, but left strict orders that the city was to fall by any means possible. The gates were closed. General Rosen, the French general, a man known for his cruelty, sent troops out into the surrounding hinterland to gather up as many Protestants as he could and drive them to the city walls, where they would gain admittance or perish at the gates. The city, which had been home to a population of 2,000, swelled to 30,000 as Protestants from all over the country fled to the city of Londonderry, seeking protection from her stout walls. This, however, led to supplies dwindling in their desperate city.
Even though our men are exhausted, and in recent call their spirit for the defence is high, they answer their call, and they answer it well. Another attack today on Butchergate. It is said our men fought like lions to save us.
We can fight the enemy without, but famine and disease strike from within. There's scarcely a child left alive, and with so little food left, their tiny hearts will cease to beat. May God protect them.
Where is the help that we were promised? Are they to leave us to starve without help after all we have sacrificed?
What news is there from Artillery Street?
The murder has missed the weapon store, but hit a house where 15 militia were sleeping. There's no hope for any of them. All lost. Yes.
By the end of us, the Pitsamara's from Strongsburg.
Like pebbles into a bucket. Other news is that Kirk is still anchored at Knoxville. Why does he wait so long? Well, he's waiting to see who will win, and then he will declare his win. If he does not act soon, all is lost.
Kirk held his position in Lough Swilly all through July, saying that neither the wind nor the tide was favourable enough for him to run the risk of a run at the boom past the cannon the Jacobites had sighted on the western bank. The defenders entreated Kirk to come, but their pleas fell deaf upon his ears. It seemed at last the city would fall. In July, 30th of July, Governor Walker preached to the citizens. offering them one last crumb of comfort in what seemed the most desperate of situations.
We have been surrounded in this city for 105 days, and we ask, when will this end? When will the suffering of the beleaguered population of this city be lifted? We look down from our walls at the massed forces of our enemy, set across the landscape in their order and their regiments, looking upon this city of Londonderry with avarice and malevolence. They have set themselves upon a path to destroy us by one contrivance or another. But we are steadfast and have remained, sure in the knowledge that we shall receive salvation from our trials. We alone have had the faith that we can maintain, even when those who have been sent with a duty to save us have waited and tarried for so long, fearing the cannon of the enemy, whilst we have suffered night and day under their bombardment. Even when those who have been charged with the defence of this city by the King and Parliament in England have failed us so readily, caring so little for our plight, one which they will ultimately share with us in time, if ever this city falls to the hands of James and his forces. We are supported in our hour of need, and must we suffer in vain? We have been surrounded in this poor city for 105 days, and we ask, how will this end? Shall we all perish at the hands of our foes as our weakness grows through starvation and disease? Or will the enemy launch an attack of such overwhelming numbers that we cannot repel it? One thing I believe for certain, and that is that we shall defend this city to the last. These days have cost us dearly, and we shall not readily submit because of the price that we, our families, and our fellow citizens have paid thus far. Our cause and duty in the protection of this city is a just and divine one, and so we shall defend it to the last man and the last ounce of strength in him. For if we are not to receive our salvation here, then surely it awaits us in the eternal life to follow, into which so many of our families and fellow citizens have already passed. For those of you who suffer in doubt, for those of you who suffer in fear, for those of you who suffer in despair, do not be downcast. Lift your face to the light of the Lord, and know that he is with you even unto the last. This we shall maintain. Amen.
Ships on the foil!
Fire at the enemy men! Attempt to draw them towards us!
It's the Mountjoy! Captain Farthing is running at the boom!
Jumper boys, sign the call!
The Mountjoy has run straight at the boom, and it has broke it, but it rebounded and has got stuck in the shallows. It is a terrible sight as James's men run to attack her. These are the men of the city who have come to save her, and now fighting hand to hand with James's men to save their own lives. The Phoenix and the Dartmouth, though, they are heading for the gap in the boom. Our salvation is close at hand.
Ready, men? Drummer boys, sign the call! Fire! Ready, men? We must protect the Mountjoy! Drummer boys, sound the call! Hold. Fire!
The Mountjoy, in firing her cannon, has refloated herself and sails now hard fast towards the boom. The boom is burst, and the siege is over! After 105 days, the siege was over, and the people of Londonderry were granted aid and indeed life itself. And they light fires and ring cathedral bells. If it had not been for the reaction of the 13 brave apprentice boys, they secured the safety not only of Londonderry, but of England, Scotland, and Ireland. It was not, though, the poor starved men of Derry that kept her, but the mighty God of Jacob. So when you walk upon these historic stones, remember those who walked before you and cleared such a righteous path. Keep them forever in your hearts. Remember them well. Remember them with pride. And remember their watch cry, "No surrender!"
I know, just say, right. That'd be a good claim.